My name is Denise Richards, and my presentation is on Child Haven Therapeutic Daycare. I'm going to begin my presentation by telling you a little history about how Child Haven and therapeutic childcare came to be. Child Haven first opened its doors in Seattle, Washington in 1909. Back then it was known as Seattle Daycare. It was founded by Reverend Mark Matthews, who is pictured on the bottom right with his family, who saw that mothers who were forced to work to take care of their families needed a safe and nurturing place where they could take their children to be taken care of during the day while they go out to work. So Reverend Matthews decided to open up a daycare out of Seattle's First Presbyterian Church, primarily for children of working mothers. Community members rallied together to provide food as well as volunteer their time in order for the nursery to function effectively and at a minimal cost. In 1973, Patrick Gogerty, who is featured here, was appointed the executive director of Seattle Daycare. Mr. Gogerty grew up as an angry child of an alcoholic father, a father who often beat him, and a fortune-teller mother who really couldn't care less about him and sent him to live in a foster home. Mr. Gogerty was no stranger to the symptoms of child abuse, having been a victim of child abuse and neglect himself. He and his staff noticed that many of the children who attended the daycare showed signs of physical abuse and neglect. Awareness of this issue spread throughout the country, and it became such a concern that in 1974, the United States Congress passed the Child Prevention and Treatment Act. Mr. Gogerty began to research and found that the most vulnerable children of our society were those from the ages of 0 to 2 years old, the ones who could not speak up for themselves, and who were home alone with their parents, and who were hidden away from the public, unlike the older children who attended school. With the help of state funds, in 1977, Mr. Gogerty started a model therapeutic childcare program that offered an array of services aimed at treating abused children. The program was very successful and demonstrated excellent results. In 1985, Seattle Daycare changed its name to Child Haven, a name that is more reflective of its mission and represent what it stands for today. Child Haven's mission statement is to forever end the cycle of child abuse and neglect by healing its youngest victims with scientifically proven therapeutic care, preparing them to be successful learners, supporting their families, and laying the foundation for lifelong loving relationships. Today, Child Haven is a non-profit therapeutic daycare center providing an array of therapeutic services to infants and preschool children who have been abused or neglected, or who are at risk of being abused or neglected. In addition, services are offered to parents and caregivers who may benefit from parenting education classes that focuses on the parent and the child's strengths. Why should society be concerned? Well, society should be concerned because society plays a vital role in children's lives. The children of today are the future of tomorrow, and that's why members of society should be concerned about the problems that exist and the programs that are needed and necessary to address these problems. We have the responsibility to contribute to the kind of nation in which we want to live in. According to the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2011, in the United States, Child Protective Services received an estimated 3.7 million referrals of children being abused or neglected. A whopping 79% were child victims of neglect. 18% were child victims of physical abuse. 9% were child victims of sexual abuse, and 10% were victims of other types of maltreatment. These numbers are very alarming, and it is an indication that society has an obligation to intervene and develop and maintain programs that will work and are proven to work to tackle these problems. So what exactly is creative play? Creative play is a form of creative therapy, and creative therapy refers to a group of techniques that are expressive and creative. The purpose of creative therapy is to help clients find a form of expression not limited to words for them to be able to express themselves. The most common creative therapy used includes art therapy, writing therapy, sand play therapy, movement therapy, psychodrama role-play therapy, and music therapy. Creative therapy is very useful in healing and in pacifying grief or anxiety, substance abuse, depression, and child neglect or child abuse. Children tell the story through art or play, and this is why it's very good to introduce creative therapy to children who are abused or neglected. Types of program offered. Child Haven offers an array of creative therapy that can be employed to treat child abuse and neglect. Through play, music, and art therapy, children can express their emotions as well as to have fun playing and interacting with others. This is where the healing process really begins. Play is essential in treating child abuse because it provides an outlet for children to express emotions that they cannot express in words. Child Haven also offers music therapy that can reinforce and shape target behaviors, while at the same time explore underlying feelings and issues. One of the art therapies that are used at Child Haven is the paper person activity exercise, where the children get to decorate a paper silhouette of a person. This activity focuses on making choices as well as social and communication skills because the children are expected to ask for and share craft materials with fellow classmates in order to complete the assignments. At the end of the activity, the children are asked to tell others about the paper person that they have created. So essentially, this encourages the children to communicate with one another. Child Haven offers a drug-affected infant program to overcome residual effects of parents' prior substance abuse, either in utero or environmentally. The only catch is that the drug-dependent parent must be enrolled in an outpatient chemical dependency program for their children to begin to receive treatment at Child Haven. A therapist will then visit the home on a monthly basis and provide therapeutic and developmental care to that child. Child Haven also offers a parent program called Promoting First Relationship. It's geared at strengthening the parent's relationship with the child. It's a 10-week program that is conducted in the family's home. The interaction of the family is videotaped for about 15 minutes and then replayed back to the family for them, to give positive critique. The goal of this exercise is to reinforce the strengths of the interaction instead of focusing on the negative aspects that might have occurred. This exercise will help the parent to understand social and emotional needs that might be reflective of their children's behavior. Now that I have briefly described some of the therapies that can be used to treat child abuse, I'm now going to show you a snippet of creative play in action.
The joy of play therapy is that the way that children express their feelings best and explore them is through play. So I won't be expecting Jack to explain anything. He won't have to tell me in words what he's thinking or feeling. It's through the play, through the stories that he makes up, through the relationship that we build up through the play, that he can show me and demonstrate what is going on for him without having to verbalize it.
What are you being? Are you being the dad?
Yes.
All right. And who am I?
Little daughter.
I'm your little daughter. Okay. And am I a good daughter or a bad daughter?
Bad one.
Bad one. Right.
And it's a lovely mess we're making.
Oh, that's a good bit.
I know, it's great fun. The only thing is you might not be able to do this anywhere else but in the playroom.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh.
So, I know.
And do you remember why you're coming to see me?
Yes. It's because my parents kept on smoking, taking drugs. And they were getting a little bit crazy.
Yeah. I'm must have been really hard for you.
There has been episodes where he has been quite aggressive towards me.
He's been aggressive towards you.
Yeah.
That must be scary.
Yeah. He does sometimes lose his temper, and then he is quite very scary.
It's funny noise. Feels like you're not quite sure what to play with, and you're feeling a bit cross, aren't you?
I don't like it.
Okay. So you're feeling cross and angry. You feel like you don't like me, and it feels really tough to be here in play therapy at the moment.
When Grandad's there, it's such a difficult thing to talk about and to show your feelings. When grown-ups have sad things like that happen to them, they often go and talk to somebody about it, and they explain their feelings. But it's really, really hard, even for grown-ups to do that, but even more hard for children.
Because we're both tired and stuff, you know, I don't want to push it. So, you know, I just feel she's had enough to deal with without me, you know, sort of pushing things on her and stuff.
I just wonder, it seems to be important to her, this theme of relationships, of, you know, the good one and the bad one and so on. And that's something we can address here in the play, but it might well come up in the conversations with you as well.
So as you saw in the short video clip, creative therapy is very useful in getting young children to express themselves without the need to actually verbalize how they feel. And they also use a variety of techniques in getting them to express themselves. Assessment of the programs. To ensure the effectiveness of these programs, Charlhaven conducted a research project to test the efficacy of these programs. Between 1980 and 1982, a group of 60 children under the age of 2 years old and who were brought to the attention of the Child Protective Services for abuse or neglect were randomly assigned to a treatment group and a non-treatment group. Half of these children participated for 18 months in the Charlhaven therapeutic program, and the other half received regular child care and parenting classes. When the studies from the treatment group and the non-treatment group were compared, it was apparent that the parents from the treatment Charlhaven group were more positive, less abusive, and the children from this group who were withdrawn became more outgoing, and the children who were once stressed were much calmer, and the angry children became more passive. After 12 years, the original children who had conducted the research was compared again. So here is the chart that illustrates the findings. Okay, so as you can see, the Charlhaven group is the light blue color and the control group is the dark blue. The 12-year follow-up study showed that the Charlhaven participants who are now teenagers were less likely than the non-treatment group, the control group, to be arrested, commit a violent act or use drugs, and were better adjusted to school. This is evident that child therapeutic programs work. Further research also found that the Charlhaven participants were less likely to receive welfare assistance such as government grants or food stamps. So essentially, not only does child therapeutic program heal abused children, it also alleviates the financial pressure on society, saving taxpayers more money in the long run. How does Charlhaven know the effectiveness of their treatment? Well, as I stated earlier, Charlhaven is based out of Seattle, Washington, and it's one of the nation's leaders in providing therapeutic care to abused and neglected children. However, there are other organizations that provide therapeutic care to children who are abused and neglected in other parts of the country. There are only a handful of organizations in my neighborhood that offer therapeutic child care, and with the high statistics of child abuse and neglect, I think that my neighborhood would actually benefit from investing in more of these types of programs. Charhaven conducts longitudinal studies to test the efficacy of their programs and only use evidence-based research methods. Therapeutic childcare is essential to society and should be available in every community. Research shows that without treatment, abused and neglected children are more likely to commit crimes and to repeat the cycle of abuse and neglect, which in the long run will cost us all a lot of money. Early intervention is paramount to counteract the symptoms and the lasting effects of child abuse and neglect. That's why more of these programs are necessary. I had the opportunity to briefly interview Michelle Smith, who is a social worker. I wanted to get her views and her opinions on therapeutic daily childcare. One of the major issues that she pointed out was the increasing numbers of child abuse and neglect that were reported on a yearly basis. She said that although there are a lot of therapeutic programs available to address all sorts of issues such as child maltreatment, autism, ADHD, and other behavioral problems, she didn't feel that there were enough daily therapeutic daycare or childcare center for abused children, and the ones that did exist can only accommodate a small number of children. So she thought that maybe that society or our community should have more daily therapeutic childcare. That brings this presentation to an end. I hope that you enjoyed my presentation. I hope that you were able to learn something about Charhaven Therapeutic Daily Childcare. And I hope any questions that you have may have been answered. So thank you for watching and listening.